So I'm going to show you how to make a basic bookmark, but you can design it however you want. First thing I do is put a cube on the screen. I'm going to stretch this out and shrink it down by grabbing onto the top handle there. I'm going to make it a little smaller than 1/8, but it's not letting me go between 1/8 and 0, so I need to go over to Snap to Grid and turn that off. That way I can lower it down as I see fit. And I'm going to do about 0.16 of an inch should work. I am moving around my screen with my right click of my mouse, my right click button. I'm going to Command C on a Mac to copy and Command V to paste. Now I have 2. I'm going to Command V one more time, and that makes 3. So what I want to do here is make this hole in my basic box here. I'm going to actually make this one a little bit wider. I'm going to put this one inside of the first one, but I want to make it taller, so I'm going to raise this up. And I would also like to make it a little bit shorter, so I'm going to shrink this side down. Now, I'm not sure if that is exactly centered. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not centered in that. So I want to align those. So I'm going to select both of the bottom and the top, click on the Align button, and I can line them to the center here. I can also align it here, and it'll move it right up to the top. I actually don't want it to be aligned that way. So I'm going to move that back down, and I'm going to select both and realign it to the bottom there. Okay, now this top part I need to make into a hole. I'm going to click on the Hole button, select both, group, and it's going to make the hole. This is what I'm going to put inside that, but it's way too big, so I need to shrink that down. I'm going to leave a little bit right here so it will connect. Maybe stretch this down towards the bottom a little bit. And I want to align these up here. So I'm going to click on the Align button and align them to the center. Okay. Now I can group that if I want. I don't need to group that for it to actually form together in the 3D printer. But as a grouping, I can now shrink the whole thing down to the exact size that I want. I can move it around easier. Now I'm going to show you how I made this pineapple. So not everything that you're going to put on this is downloadable. Sometimes you have to make your own design and think about what shapes can you transform. And I want it to be exactly at this red button's height. How do I get that? Well, if I click on this red part here and I throw down a ruler, that's going to show me my dimensions. And right here, it's telling me my height is 0.31. So on this one right here, I can also make this 0.31, I think. Was it 1.3 or 3? Oh, I think, let me check that again. 0.131. So I need to go here and say 0.131, return, and then that is going to be exact. Okay. Now, how did I get the design here? I use the scribble tool, drag that out, and then you can scribble in your designs. So I did a few like this, and then I clicked done. Now that's way too big and it's not in the right direction, so I'm going to shrink that up. I'm holding down the Shift key so it will constrain my proportions. Okay. Now I'm going to click on these guys and I'm going to rotate them around. Well, I'm going to need to use this rotating arrow here. So sometimes you have to move your screen around. Now that's totally not tall enough to be able to make a cutout, so I'm going to make that taller. I'm going to copy it and paste it, put another set right here, and that's going to be a little bit too big here. So I want to shrink that down just a little bit. Move that around on my screen how I want it. Okay, now I want these two pieces to be holes. I have to hold down the Shift key and also select the orange base that I want to make the hole out of, and then I'm going to group it together. and then it cuts out the holes. This also was a scribble, so I'm going to add that here, and then I just made like the top of the pineapple the best I could. I'm doing this really, really fast right now, but I went in and I did a little bit more with it. I can add in. And you know, the first time I did this, I actually had to practice a couple times, so take your time when you're doing that. This part I don't really like. Make that like that. Okay, click on done. And then we need to rotate it. So I'm going to use this arrow here, bring that up towards the top. I need to flatten that down. I actually want it to be raised up a little bit higher than that orange piece there. Okay, and now all I need to do is put those letters in. So I'm going to use my text. I need to change the text up here. Oh, it's still not changing. All right, let's get in there. There we go. Ah, we have a glitch going here. I think I see the problem. There we go. Okay, it just glitched a little bit. I'm going to shrink that right down. Turn that into a hole. You can turn anything into a hole. I'm still going to change that sizing a bit. Just check it and make sure it'll fit in there. And then I want to group it. So I'm holding down the Shift key. I'm going to group it with this red section here. Click on Group. Give that a second. And then it makes the cutout. So there you go.